Perfect. All right, so I have one viewer right now, so this is fabulous. I am just trying out YouTube to see if YouTube Lives are something that we want to do in the future. I like the spontaneity of them. But today I'm just going to walk through a logic game and hopefully we can use this as a learning opportunity and I can check out and try this platform a little bit. All right. So I'm going to give people a couple minutes to join. I wonder if I try. All right. I want to share my screen though so that we can pull up a logic game. If you're watching, go ahead and put in the chat, what is your goal score if you have a goal score? Someone's actually here. Latoya, thank you for joining and saying hello. This is my first stream on YouTube, so I'm excited. All right, is this the best? I think this might be the best screen option, but I don't like how it 155. Oh, 155 such is a great goal score. You can go, how many points? How long have you been studying for? I don't like that either. How big is that on y'all's end? Is that big enough that you can see? That kind of looks a little blurry to me. Maybe if I make these a little bit. If I bring them in a little bit. Oh no. Maybe that will be better. All right. So let's see if I go here. Oh, that's just that. So then I can go here. Over here. I got it. Okay. All right. So we have to get your goal score up. We can do that. All right. But Latoya, also get in the chat since you're the only person here. Can you see the screen okay? I'm trying to figure out what is the best. I feel like that's the best option. I just don't like how that background is. But we might just have to go with it. Okay. All right, so today we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between, or we're going to talk about ordering games. And so for starters, this option is the best. Okay, awesome. And so I'm using my iPad, so if ever I'm not looking at the screen, that's why. But so everybody that is here, go ahead and look at this game for a minute, and I want you to see what kind of game type you think it is, and put in the chat what kind of game type you think it is. If you had to choose. Oh, there's no sound, so you can't hear me talk? Are you determining what game type it is? I think there should be sound. Can you hear me now? Okay, I can hear. Oh, I wasn't talking. So go ahead and look at this game, look at these instructions, and determine what kind of game type it is. So we have grouping games, we have hybrid, we have matching, we have, Kalina can hear me. Welcome, Kalina. Kalina's taking the LSAT in September, hopefully. Thank you for joining, Kalina, and welcome. Go ahead and guess what kind of game type, if you're familiar, in the chat, and I'll say it in like 30 seconds. So we'll go from there. Ooh, Kalina guesses grouping. So this is actually, what happens if I zoom in? Fancy. Okay, so this is actually going to be an ordering game. And there's two kinds of ordering games. We have strict ordering and we have loose ordering. And oftentimes people ask me what the difference between these two is. So if we're looking at what the difference is, it's not the end of the world if we are not completely sure. but I just made a video that I'm going to post that shows this from the beginning part. But whenever we have strict ordering games, it's going to be like that I have here on the left, right here. And this is whenever we get a set of variables. So let's say our variables are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to put those into a specific spot. So oftentimes these might be, oh, they're giving us 5 people. We have person A, B, C, D, and E, and they each have to do something on a day of the week. So because on that part, we have A, B, C, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We have 5 spots and we have people that are actually going there. And so what these rules will look like is that A is third, because if that happens, we know that we are putting A right into that third spot. We're strictly speaking, and that's where they're going. Where on the other end, wonder if it's easier to do this. Or for the second example, we have, sorry, I'm going to erase some of this for y'all. If we have A goes to the movies on Wednesday, that falls into that same category, because even if we have, say, they might tell us that it's Monday through Friday, or it might tell us that it's Sunday through Saturday, but in either case, we know that A is specifically going to go into that Wednesday spot. Where on the other hand, when we have, what do you guys think is going to happen whenever we have loose ordering games? Any idea? And go ahead and drop in the chat, have you heard of these game types or have you heard these games called this before, or is this the first time that you're hearing this terminology? I'm guessing for Kalina, it might be her first time, but Latoya, you might have heard these before. And if so, how comfortable are you with them? First time. Whoop, Kalina, first time. Excellent. This is my first time streaming, so we can be there together. This is kind of weird, but I like it because I like weird things. All right. So loose grouping. The variables can go anywhere. Yes. So instead of like we have Monday through Friday where we have these strict spots that we're trying to place people into, rather what we call loose ordering, I like to refer to it as relatively loose, because these are all in relative to this other thing. So I found like this kindergarten or like first grade worksheet, but if we were to compare these items in length, we might put these in order. So we have a hanger and we have a stapler. What this rule might look like is, oh, the stapler is, the hanger is longer than the stapler. So that might also look like, oh, the hanger is going to come first. And that's just relative, right? We're not putting it into a specific spot. That's just very loose ordering. And so what these rule statements will often look like is C is before A and B. So instead of putting C, like before we put A in third, well, this time all we know is that C relative to A and B, C is going to come first. But what am I doing? But where people get confused on these is there any relationship between A and B here? Oh, simple ordering. This is what I referred to previously, Latoya, is simple and strict ordering. I only know strict from simple ordering. I think strict and simple ordering, Latoya, are the same thing. Where this is loose. All right, so let's go back to this question. And we're going to go ahead and practice diagramming this. All right, so we have 5 people. So we want to go ahead and put our variables here. So we have H, I, K, N, and V. So we always just want to use the first letter of our variables. We have 5 spots just so we can keep track of them. And it says, are to be scheduled as contestants on a TV show, 1 contestant per day for 5 consecutive days from Monday through Friday. And so already, what do we know What are we going to guess what kind of game this is? So we're putting something in order, right? We have one contestant per day and we have 5 consecutive days, Monday through Friday. So we know that we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And this is going to be in order. So let's go ahead and look at our first rule here. And then we have, I'm going to go ahead and write this at the top. So we have, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. All right. So our first rule here says Nancy is not scheduled for Monday. So how I would diagram that is I would just put an N under Monday and cross it off, right? Because Nancy's not on Monday. Pretty simple, right? But then second, we have if Harry is scheduled for Monday, Nancy is scheduled for Friday. So if Harry is for Monday, right? So if we were going to diagram this, which I know people hate conditionals, but here what we're saying is if Harry is on Monday, that is sufficient, right? Or that is going to guarantee that Nancy is on Friday. What is the contrapositive of this rule? Does anybody know? So it's going to be if Nancy is not on Friday, then Harry is not on Monday. I know that sounds really confusing. I just want to show you that so once it comes across, you know what to look for. But really, what we want to start considering is, do we want to make worlds happen? Do we want to make these scenarios? And so what we want to do is we want to split our game board here into 2. And if we're just using rule number 2, what are our 2 options for H, technically? And I'm going to copy this over exactly as I have it here. What are our 2 options for H? Yeah, we're either going to go, we either can put H directly in M, so if we could put H here, or we can have H not in M. Those are the 2 options that we know so far. But let's go back up to world number 1. And what do we know when H is in M? Yeah, when H is in M, that means N is in F. So we can go ahead and fill that out for rule number 1. But we still can't do anything for number 2 because nothing happens if N is not, or sorry, actually we can fill something out. So because we did our reversal. So if N is not on Friday, so here, N could be on Friday. Never mind. All right, so now let's go to rule number 3. If Nancy is scheduled for Tuesday, Iris is scheduled for Monday. So if Nancy is scheduled for Tuesday, so what this is saying is if Nancy is Tuesday, then Iris is Monday. All right, and then our contrapositive, think of our contrapositive. So here, it's just going to be that if Iris is not Monday, then Nancy is not Tuesday. Well, in which of these worlds can Iris not be Monday? Yeah, number 1, because we already have H there. So we know that Iris can't be here because we already have somebody there. We have H. And so what happens whenever Iris is not on Monday? Yeah, Nancy is not on Tuesday, which we already knew because we have Nancy somewhere, but that's what it would look like if we were still trying to determine this. But then what happens if Nancy is on Tuesday? In what scenario can Nancy be on Tuesday? Yeah, only number 2 so far. But does Nancy have to be on Tuesday? And that's where people get really confused, is we think that, oh, well, if Nancy can't be on Tuesday in world number 1, that means Nancy must be on Tuesday on number 2. But really what we want to do here is we want to split world number 2 into 2 different worlds. So I'm going to make a 3, and I'm just going to copy number. Someone said you can hear me. Okay. Let's see if I can make me louder. Yeah, let's see if we can go ahead and split this. So if we put, I'm going to go ahead and copy this exactly. Oh, I don't want to draw. I just wanted to lasso. Copy. Last try of the night. Control copy. Control paste. Yes. Okay. So now what we want to do here is we want to try to make both scenarios happen for this third rule. And so it's either Nancy is going to be scheduled for Tuesday or Nancy's not. And so we can put Nancy in for Tuesday, and we can put Nancy not in for Tuesday, because those are the only 2 scenarios that we have. And then what happens when Nancy goes on Tuesday? Yeah, I goes on Monday. So we're going to go ahead and put I here. And so we're digging in here. So here's a trick question. Can I, in world number 3, can I potentially go in Monday? What do you think? Dun, dun, dun. What do we think? Yeah, they could, because I being in Monday is never a sufficient condition. We just have something that triggers if I isn't on Monday. So that doesn't matter at all. It could be or it could not be. But let's go ahead and go on to our last rule. Our last rule, which says Kate is scheduled for the next day after the day for which Victor is scheduled. So sometimes people get all like crazy about these rules, but what is this saying? This is just saying that, hey, when Victor goes, Kate's going to go right after him. And so we'll have Victor and Kate, and these are strictly locked next to each other. So that means wherever these 2 friends go, we have to have a 2-man spot, right? Two places for them to go, which isn't an issue in any of the worlds that we have now. However, what does this mean for Kate? So you don't want to do this on your diagramming on every game that you ever do, but these are the things that we want to be thinking about, is where can V never go? Yeah, V can never go last, because if we were ever to put V last, there would be nowhere for K to go because we don't have any room there. So that never can be V, ever. And then the same goes if we think about it the same way, but for K, where can K never go? Yeah, K can never go first because there would be nowhere for V to go. And so now that we think about this, we pretty much have our world set up here of what is possible. VK, VK, and then do we have any, and then H. Nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into the questions. So the first question says, Victor can be scheduled for any day except. So look, we already thought about this. This is how much we're going to fly through these games. We literally predicted this. If I got this question, I'm like, and I'm going to look at my roads. I'm like, well, when can Victor know? We already determined this. Obviously, Victor can't, well, no, Victor can never go because Victor has to be before K. Even if we looked at our worlds. In the first world, we can't have, N is there. And then we literally told ourselves no V. Piece of cake, right? We got that. So for this one, we're going to get this answer so fast and just move on. If it lets me undo some more, but it's just not. Whatever. All right, so let's go on to number 8. Oh yeah, guys, and like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm supposed to tell people that because that's how I'll grow. I think I have like 300 followers. I need like 4,000 apparently. Probably will never happen, but I'm working on it. I think I'm going to start doing like legal talks where I'm going to pick random cases and talk about them just for fun. And so if you 3 viewers are the only 3 viewers I ever have, I'm totally cool with that because it probably will just be me talking to myself. Anyways, because this is really fun. I should have people join me. If you ever want to join and talk, let me know. Drop it in the chat and I'll just have you join and talk. All right, so let's go on to question number 8. If Iris is scheduled for the next day after Harry, so let's think about this for the first part. How would we diagram this? We're saying if Iris is scheduled for the day after Harry, so we're saying if it goes HI, just for question 8, which of the following lists those days, any one of which could be the day for which Harry is scheduled? So we're thinking, all right, when could Harry go? Well, let's look at our diagrams. Where do we know that H can obviously go first, right? That's pretty easy. So I'm going to look through my answer choices really quick and be like, okay, I know H can go on Monday. Well, shoot, that didn't help me that much, right? Because every single answer choice has Monday. And so now we want to get creative with how we cross off answers. And I want to try one that I could cross multiple answers off with. So one that looks good to me is I'm going to try Thursday next and look at my worlds and think, okay, where could go on Thursday? And so I'm going to use, let's use orange. And this will be like my trial. Like this is just for this time. Like it's not strict. It's just for this game. If we put H on Wednesday, or I said Thursday, does that work in any of these? Well, it can't work in the first one because we don't have anywhere for that I to go. So let's try. And then it's not going to work in the second one because I comes first. So now let's look at the third one. Can we put I last? So we have HI. Well, in this case, if we do HI, we know that N can't go first or second in this world. So that means N has to go third. And then who do we have left? We have K and we have V. Well, K can't go first. So, and it has to go VK, right? Oh, well, that works. So VK here works. And so we have a world that works. So we want to star that. And I usually just rewrite them on the side. Or if I wouldn't be erasing on my actual game. But I'm just going to write this here where I'm like, oh, wow, this is a scenario that works. I'm just going to circle it so I know that. But here works. So I know my answer has to have Thursday in it. And so I'm going to cross A and B off and D off because they don't have Thursday in it. And so now I only have a couple answer choices left that I actually have to try. So who do we need to try? We have one that has Wednesday and one does not. So obviously we're just going to try Wednesday. And so if we put H in Wednesday, well, we don't have to for the first one because we already have H somewhere. And the second one doesn't matter because we already have I first. So we only have to be looking at this third world. And if we put H here, then we have to have I. We know that we have to have VK somewhere. So the only place that that's going to be able to go is first. And then who do we have left? N. That works. So then our answer for number 8 is going to be E. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. How are we feeling about that? Are we feeling good? Awesome. All right. So now let's look at number 9. If Kate is scheduled for Wednesday, which of the following could be true? So what we want to think about, what is the difference between could be true and must be true? Does it matter? Do those words matter? Yes, absolutely. Because could be true just means it's a possibility. It doesn't have to happen. So there could be more options, but they're saying like, hey, this could happen. And so I need to erase whatever I just did. Cool. All right. And so we're saying if K is scheduled for Wednesday. So I'm just going to draw a new diagram just so I don't have to keep erasing it. But if K is scheduled for Wednesday, what else do we know automatically? Well, if K is for Wednesday, we know V goes in front of it, so this has to be V. So the only variables that we have left are N, I, and H. Well, we know that H can't go. All right, so based off of this, we're going to go look at our answer choices and just ask ourselves, well, could this be true? Iris is scheduled for Friday. Could we put Iris Friday? If we do, where would everybody else have to go? Well, H couldn't go first because N can't go on Friday. So we know that H would have to go here. And then that would leave N, but we know that N can't go first. So A doesn't work. The second answer is Nancy is scheduled for Tuesday. Well, that's a really easy one to cross off because Nancy can't go on Tuesday, right? Because we already have, I should have make this smaller so that we can see it while looking at the question. Hang on one second while I do that. Coming up here. Ooh, can I make this smaller? Nice. What about all of this? Cool. And I don't need that anymore. Okay. And then I just don't need this in. Erase, erase. Why aren't you erasing? I don't know. Whatever. I quit on that. All right. So we know it's not B. C says Nancy is scheduled for an earlier day than the day for which Harry is scheduled. All right. So we're saying it goes NH. Can that ever happen? It would have to be, we would have to put N and H here at the back. And who would that leave? That would leave I. Can I go first? Yes. So I'm liking C as my answer so far. But let's keep going. Just to check it. All right. So we have 10. If Kate is scheduled for Friday, which of the following must be true? So we're saying if we put Kate Friday, which could be 2 or 3, but I'm just going to draw it again over here for us to see. So if Kate is scheduled for Friday, that means that this has to be V, and we know that H cannot be first. All right, can Harry be scheduled for Tuesday? And we know that N can never be first or second. So that means N is going to go third, and if H can't go first, that means H has to go here. And so what must be true? Yes, absolutely. It has to be that H is scheduled for today. And then when we go on to our last one, if Iris is scheduled for Wednesday, which of the following must be true? So once again, we have a must be true, where if this is I, and if I is not Monday, we know that N is not Friday, right? Wait, if N is for Tuesday, I is for Monday. If I is not for Monday, N is not for Tuesday, so we know this is not N. This is not N. Which, if we have to have V and K together, that means this is going to be V and K, and then we're going to have N and H over here somewhere. And so here it says Harry is scheduled for an earlier day than the day for which Nancy is scheduled. That does not have to be true. That could be true, but it doesn't have to be true. Harry is scheduled for an earlier day than the day Kate is scheduled. No, that can't be true, right? Because we have Kate going second. Kate is scheduled for an earlier day than which is Harry. Yes, because we have Kate in second, and Harry can either go fourth or fifth, so that's going to be our answer. But let's see why the rest are wrong. We have Nancy is scheduled for an earlier day than for which Kate is scheduled. Nope, can't happen because Nancy has to be one of these back answers with age. It's going to be H or N. And then lastly, Nancy is scheduled for an earlier day than for which Iris. Nope, that can't happen either. And that's why it's C. And that's how to do PT game 13 or PT 13 game 2. Does anybody have any questions at all? I can answer those now. I don't know if anybody else is even watching.